Hey everyone, Ace of Clay here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another sculpting video. If you're new here, I'm a sculptor and every week I make a new sculpture, and today I'm sculpting my version of a realistic creeper from Minecraft. If you're not familiar with creepers, they are just hostile mobs that you can encounter at any point in the game. They are these blocky green characters and they hiss at you and blow up. This was a really fun project because I was able to explore how this simple green block character could turn into something more realistic. So there was a lot of creative freedom and I had an absolute blast with it. I've also done this before with an enderman. If you want to check that out from a couple weeks ago, the link to that video is in the description box below. And now without further ado, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ace of Clay. Now let's make this creeper. Alright, let's get started. Not gonna lie, this is probably one of the ugliest sculptures I have ever made. Just wait. It's really interesting looking. Gonna start with the armature. I've got my aluminum wire here. I'm just cutting 4 pieces and I'm going to connect them all at the middle there, and then you'll see that this is going to make the 4 legs and then the upper half of the creeper. He's got no arms, just gotta make his 4 legs. And then all the materials and tools that you see me use in this video are listed in the description box below, along with my affiliate links if you want to purchase anything. Now I'm going to start bulking out the top area with some aluminum foil, and then once I get this to a shape that I like, I'm going to further bulk it out with some Super Sculpey Ultralight. And the reason why I'm using the Ultralight over the foil is because I like that nice smooth surface to add my final layer of clay, and I like the control that I have with the Ultralight instead of just adding my Sculpey to the foil. Now I'm going to go ahead and bake this, and then when we come back, we'll add our final layer of clay. There we go, nice and hard. For this project, I'm using some Super Sculpey Living Doll. This is the best clay in the world, so we're going to use this. And we're going to start by adding these nice even sheets to our armature. I got the even sheets by rolling the clay through my pasta maker on the thickest setting. Now I'm going to start the face by making the mouth shape out of this snake of clay, and this goes very wrong. So I start carving out the mouth to see if it makes me feel better, and it doesn't. So I think, maybe we'll add the eyes. Maybe that'll fix everything. And it clearly doesn't. What is this? So anyway, I go ahead and smash that and start over. And we're going to do it the right way this time. I'm going to start with the eyes, create the eye sockets with my large ball stylus. Use a smaller ball stylus to deepen those. And now for the fun part, I'm going to add this really crazy lumpy texture all over this thing. I'm going to try to make it make sense in certain areas. I want it to look realistic and gross and gross. You'll see as we continue progressing. But I just want to say that I made it a point not to Google anybody else's realistic creeper designs. I didn't look at anybody else's for inspiration or anything like that. I want this whole thing to come out of my head and my head alone. So just want to let you know that. And if it does happen to look like someone else's design, that was completely unintentional. So yeah, anyway, going ahead and adding that lumpy texture, just using these flattened pieces of clay, blending the edges in with my spoon tool and fingerprints. Now we're going to carve the mouth out, and so far so good. I'm really enjoying this process now and liking the direction it's going. I'm loving this Living Doll clay. Seriously, if you have never used Living Doll before, I highly suggest trying it. It's amazing. Now we're going to go ahead and use some snakes of clay to create a nice cracked sort of puckering texture around the mouth. And this was a fun little process. Let's use that rubber shaper tool to blend the pieces together, get everything nice and smooth, and really get this thing looking creepy. I want this thing to look like it is hissing at you, and I think I achieved that. You let me know what you think in the comments, and also let me know in the comments which Minecraft character you want to see me make next. I know there are billions of them, so let me know which one you want to see me make. Okay, now to really take that bumpy texture to the next level, let's put some little veins on it. These are just tiny snakes of clay that I'm pressing onto the surface and blending the edges in with my spoon tool and fingertip and rubber shapers and whatever it takes to get those edges blended in. So there we go. These were a very nice touch, I might say. Alright, now using that explorer tool to get those creases in nice and sharp. And then now it's time to add some folds of skin all down the body in just different areas and clustering them together here and there and just making this look like a glob of flesh, which is, I guess, what I was going for. Definitely looks like a creeper, definitely lives up to the name. Just wait until you see this thing with some clay softener on it before I bake it when it's all shiny and slippery looking. Yeah, that's a cursed image, let me tell you. But anyway, getting ahead of myself again, just adding those different sized circles and teardrop shapes here and there, blending those in, getting everything really smooth, really creepy. Now to further enhance the texture, I'm going ahead and adding some smaller pieces of clay. We got these tiny little oval shapes that we're adding on top of the bigger oval shapes, and it's just looking really nice and lumpy. I'm loving it. And using this nice sculpty shaper tool to blend those edges in, and my spoon tool, just smoothing everything out. There's really not much to say about this process. It's just the same couple of steps over and over again until the whole thing has this nice nasty texture. So let's take a minute, I'll shut up and we'll listen to some music. Now it's time for the sponsor. Hey, now before we get into the rest of the video, let's take a second to talk about our sponsor, BetterHelp. Is there something getting in the way of your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? I know I've been there before, I know a lot of us have, and I know the importance of mental health, especially when it comes to being a creator and sculptor and making a new sculpture every week. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your very own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating within 48 hours. It is not a crisis line, it is not self-help, it is licensed professional counseling done securely online. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 15,000 counselor network, which may not locally be available in many areas. BetterHelp is available worldwide, and you can log in at any time to send a message to your counselor. You will get timely and thoughtful responses, and you can even schedule weekly video and phone sessions. And you will never have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches. That's why they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need to. BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life starting today. Visit betterhelp.com/aceofclay, that's better H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And because you're an Ace of Clay subscriber or you're just watching this video, you can save 10% on your first month of BetterHelp. Just go to betterhelp.com/aceofclay. Now back to the creeper. Yeah, back to the creeper indeed. Check out all this texture we're doing. Just keep going with that. Listen to some music. Make some lumps. Alright, now that I'm satisfied with where the body's at, let's work our way down to the legs. Now, when thinking of these, the first thing that came to mind was elephant legs and feet. So I'm kind of going with that as inspiration, but then I kind of give it a little twist as we get to the toes, you'll see in a sec. So let's brush on some Bacon Bond to that wire, and then stick our clay on. And I didn't bulk the legs out. I'm kind of pushing the thickness there, the recommended clay thickness, but it works out just fine. Putting some pointy little toes on there. We'll add some fingernails or some toenails later. Now I'm just adding some more rolls. This guy is just covered in rolls. And then a big droopy knee in a second. Yeah, right there. Now, as if that isn't creepy enough as it is, let's go ahead and put some toenails on using my spoon tool. Both sides of it, just making the shape with the curved side and then flattening it out with the spoon side. There we go. Creepy foot and leg number 1. Let's add some little tiny like moles with some tiny balls of clay, and let's speed through that second leg. And then finish it off with some details. And then once that leg is done, before I work on the back 2 legs, I pre-bake this just so I don't smash all the work I just put into this. Now, look at that belly button. That really kicks it up a notch, doesn't it? Wow. Now let's finish things up with some more details. Add a couple more lumps. I thought it was missing some on the sides of its face. And then the fun part is brushing the whole surface with clay softener. So once that's done, let's get the clay softener out. There we go. Brush this on, make them nice and shiny looking and slimy. This thing, like I said earlier, is a sight to see. Look at that. All right, get that thing away from me. Okay, once it's baked and completely cooled down, it's nice and hard. Looks great. Nothing broke, thank God. Let's work on those 2 back legs. Again, essentially the same process as the front 2 legs, just making them a little bit different. Oh, there's a fun little close-up. Look at that foot. Oh, wow. Alright, now to finish it off, I'm going to brush these with some clay softener too, and pop it in the oven one last time. And then once he's baked and completely cooled down, it's time for paint. Let's look at what colors to make them. All green with some texture maybe. So I'm going to start with grass green. All the paints that I'm using are Folk Art brand matte acrylics, except for the neon one. That's Americana, because Folk Art's neons aren't as bright. Now I'm going to start with painting the mouth black, and then the eyes, of course. And then we'll start by creating a nice dark green base coat, and then we'll work our way lighter from there. Look at that base coat going on. This living doll takes paint so well, just saying. Alright, now that that base coat is on and dry, I'm going to go ahead and start dry brushing, just kind of roughly with some lighter green, just to give it a little bit more dimension before I start, you know, zoning in on areas and making them a little more refined with using an even lighter green. Just dabbing that on the surface here, trying to hit all those raised areas, bring out all the creepy details. And then now I'm going in with that neon green to just heighten that brightness a little bit more. And it's working out pretty well. And then for the next step, instead of just dry brushing this whole thing, which I easily could have done, I'm using some watered down neon green and a round brush, just dabbing it on the surface to create some texture and dimension, of course. Lots of dimension. Now to enhance the shadows on this guy, I'm going in with some watered down pure magenta, just getting into all those nooks and crannies. Now for the next step, I'm going to go in with some color shift green and dry brush this on the surface just to give him a nice dewy sort of color shifting finish. Of course, color shift paint gives it a color shifting appearance. Wow, go figure. Now just dry brushing that on here and there, and then to heighten that even more, I'm going to use some purple and dry brush that or dab it into the darkened areas, and this really looks good. I love how it creates a sort of oil slick color, and I think it really finishes him off. All right, I can see the finish line. One last time lapse. Now say it with me. And he's done. My realistic version of a Minecraft creeper is complete. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. I had a lot of fun making this sculpture, as I say, for pretty much everything I make on this channel, but this one was a lot of fun just because I was able to really do whatever I want given very little constraints, because it's just a big blobby green character in the game, and that's essentially what I turned it into, and I think he looks pretty cool. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.